Hello, my name is Enrique Lopez Mañas, and today I want to talk with you about Android high performance. I'm an IT consultant, I'm part of the Google Developer Expert crew, and this is my Twitter ID. So if you want to follow me, I generally try to post about Android and software development in general. Well, what is performance? Performance is how well a person, machine, etc. does a piece of work or an activity. This is the Cambridge definition. But we hear lately that there is a lot of hype regarding software high performance. So what is software high performance or high performance when it is applied to software? Well, we talk about the strategies to create efficient software. And in the case of Android and the mobile platforms, there are a lot of topics involved. So we can be talking about energy and battery, programming patterns, layouts and UI, security, multi-threading, debugging techniques, etc. Why is this important? Well, there are a few factors. It affects the user engagement. If the user is unhappy with how our software is performing, he will stop using our software and going to the competence. It's also about costs, maintenance, and quality, which are very correlated. We want our costs to remain low and not skyrocket. We want the application to be maintainable in the future, and we want it to have a really high quality, so it can be outstanding. We can face many financial losses if our application is not performant. We can have a financial loss from a lost business if for whatever reason the customer doesn't end up using our service. We can have financial losses from customer reparations. We listen and see continuously cases of companies that get their data stolen and hacked because the software has not been operating correctly. We can face financial losses from customers that are using our service, but the service is degrading over time and they start going to the concurrency. And we can face losses from lawsuits and legal process and having a lower brand equity for the organization. Well, when it comes to responsiveness, there are three important limits in software. The first one is 0.1 seconds. When an application is responding under 0.1 seconds, it's considered to be fluent. The user is not perceiving any delay in the response. The next limit would be 1 second. So when the application is performing for 1 second, and it takes 1 second for us to receive the response, the user perceives that there is some delay. This is not critical, but we can see that there is no correct flow on the application. And 10 seconds, that's the third limit. When the application is performing over 10 seconds, the user might stop using that, going to another competitor or even deinstalling the application. This is a study done by Miller and Card in different years. What does means in Android? Well, it means ANR, application not responsive. When the application is not responding for a while, we will present this dialog to the user. As we can see here, the user has the chance of waiting or closing the application. Both of the solutions are really bad. If he's waiting, he's not having a nice experience, and if he's closing the application, he might stop using it. An ANR happens automatically in the operative system, so that means Android decides to pop it up when there is no response for an input event in 5 seconds. That means the user clicks, there is no response and no interactions in 5 seconds, or when a broadcast receiver is still executing after 10 seconds. How can we avoid it? Well, if we are performing a background operation, and we should always move all the data in all the operation dealing with data into the background operation, we should show feedback. Here we have this component called the progress bar, and it is presented in two different flavors in Android. In one of them there is a progressive bar that is moving from left to right. There is a start and an end, and the user will see all the development. The other flavor is a circle that is spinning infinitely, so the user can perceive that there is some operations being executed. A splash screen. I know that some people do not agree with the splash screen being a pattern in Android, but it definitely has its own space. When we need to perform an operation initially, download some data, perform some calculations, etc., we can make use of a splash screen if the splash screen has been done correctly. In this example, we can see how the problem is being solved very beautifully. This splash screen is beautiful, the data is being downloaded, and the user gets still engaged. And last, we could use, if we are doing calculations, we could use a worker thread. So moving this into another thread that is not the UI, and perform all the operations that we want there. There are two tools we can actually use to debug those problems, are systrace and traceview. With the traceview, we can analyze the trace of an Android execution and see exactly if there is any bottleneck or where the things are happening. This has been the first chapter on Android high performance. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you keep on watching them.